Colne Radio 106.6 FM and online. Welcome to the Panpipes and Chill Hour.
Don't think so. It's the KT Rock Hour. Putting the rock back in the seaside. Okay, maybe not for now. You just heard a jingle that was made as part of the Seeds for Growth Making Radio. My name's KT, and you'll hear more from me later in the show. But for now, here is Paula, who is another participant on the Making Radio course, and she now tells us of her experience. What made you take an interest in this course?
Well, I found the course advertised on Facebook, and with my new job that I've just taken on, communication is a big part of it, and I thought that this would be a really good opportunity to do a course to help with my communication and see where it leads to. And also, I love learning. I always want to find something new to do, and this really has taken me out of my comfort zone. So I thought, give it a go, you never know.
So talking about the comfort zone, what have you found the most challenging?
Well, this part, the talking, the hearing myself was really tricky. Having to sort of edit my work and hearing myself speaking, I found the most challenging part, yes.
And the most rewarding, so what has been the highlights?
Well, for me, it was definitely the production side of it. I really enjoyed the editing, working on the computer, with all the parts and putting them together and making an interview. I really enjoyed that. And also the writing part of it. I enjoyed sort of writing up the introductions and things like that, and finding all the information out. So definitely the production side, I think.
I think it's incredible when you actually break it down, the amount of work that you do put into, that goes in the background of putting these together. How is the course going to help you in the future?
Yeah, in the future, well, we've been discussing it and we're planning to do some podcasts. So whether I actually do the podcasts, I don't know. Maybe I've got the confidence now to do them, or whether one of my colleagues does them, but I'll definitely be doing the producing of them. And that's with Essex Carers Network, which is where I work, and we've got some people lined up already that we're going to interview for podcasts. So we're already planning our first series. So it's very, very exciting. But yeah, this taken me out of my comfort zone, but it's been so much fun. I've really, really enjoyed it. Met some great people, so really good.
Thank you, Paula. 2 in 5 men regularly report feeling worried or low, according to mental health charity Mind. That's an increase of 37% in the last 10 years. Society, expectations and traditional gender roles play a large part in why men are much less likely than women to discuss or seek help for their mental health worries. And Mind says that men are more likely to use potential harmful coping mechanisms like drugs or alcohol. Redundancy is one life-changing event which can plunge people into depression. Paula has been speaking to David, who was made redundant at the age of 51. He explained how it has affected his mental health and a new hobby which helped him cope.
The redundancy was a big shock. I've been made redundant before, but I didn't know it was happening, and this just seemed to come out of the blue. I've worked there for 8 years, worked with the same people for most of that time. My first emotions over it was, it made me angry. I took some sertraline, which during the consultation period seemed to calm me down and not make me quite as aggressive, so I could process my thoughts a little bit more and not get angry and shout at people. But then after that, it's sort of part of the worry is, it's sort of, why me? What have I done to deserve this? And then you get the guilt, because as much as I didn't want to be made redundant, I'm quite enjoying not working, because I get to spend more quality time with family and with my dogs. So, that there's a little bit of guilt there, but I know I've got to get another job. I suppose the other thing is it hits your confidence, because you think, well, I've been made redundant. They don't really give you a reason why they're making you redundant. They tell you your job's been made redundant, but they don't tell you why you're being made redundant. I miss the routine, because I sort of get up and, I don't know what day of the week it is most of the time now. I get up in the morning, I don't know what day of the week it is, and I haven't got to get up because I don't really know what I'm doing.
Were you able to talk to anybody, friends, or did you seek any medical advice?
I think that's what I think that's missing, because I think because it happened so quick, and I didn't see it coming. Where before, when I was made redundant, I had a 16-week consultation period. So basically, by the time, in the end, it was a relief just for it to be over, because you'd had time to get used to it. But this happened because it happened. Get told on the Monday my job was at risk. Had a consultation that didn't go too well, because basically because I wasn't forewarned. So I got a bit angry in it. Then there's a second consultation that Friday, where I'm basically having to justify my existence. No, I don't really feel, it was properly talked about, because it was so quick.
So since your redundancy, what have you found to do to help you to relax?
I found, the main thing, on the day I left work, I started going to walking football. I've been talking about it for a while. I never really got round to doing it, and it just felt like I needed something else to think about. So I just sucked it up and went.
And how did you find out about walking football?
I've known about it for a long time, through other people doing it. Foxash Social Club, they have a team. So I decided to just go and see what it was like. I didn't intend on playing straight away. I thought I'd just go and have a look. But within the moment, before you know it, you're kicking a ball around.
Okay. And how did that help with your mental health, do you think?
Just switching off. Just a change from the routine. Is something I hadn't done. Other things to think about, people to talk to. There's the women football. There's a lot of people in the same sort of position. They're not made redundant, but they're retired. So although you're not working for different reasons, but that's where you've got something in common. So it's just a change of routine. And when you're playing football, it's just it's feeling part of a team again, but feeling part of something.
And fitness-wise, how did you find?
Bloody hard. It was a bit of a shock to my system. It sort of had aches and pains. Even though I'm one of the youngest ones there, it's sort of, I did find, I was surprised, because the age range of people from 50, and the oldest chap who's there is just under 80. And I'm thinking, well, if he can do it, I can do it. But it was hard work the first 2 or 3 weeks I went.
Can I ask, what would you say to somebody else who's about to be in the same position, or in the same position that you are, sort of like with redundancy or a major life change?
It is what it is. You can't do a lot about it. You just get on with it, find a new hobby, try something different. Even if you don't think you'll fit in, just give it a go. If it doesn't work out, try something else.
That's some great advice from David. Now I'm going to play you one of my favourite songs by Phil Collins, whose Face Value album was the first record I ever bought. So here's In the Air Tonight.
Colne Radio, 106.6 FM. Great music, great local news, great local people. Love where you live with Colne Radio, online, on your smart speaker and FM.
Comprehensive research by Carers UK shows 1 in 8 people in the UK care for a loved one or friend with a disability, long-time illness or frailty. That's around 6.5 million people with an unpaid caring responsibility. Most will say caring for their loved one is something they do out of love, but in fact, unpaid carers save the economy an estimated £132 billion a year. I'm Paula for Colne Radio, and today I'm so pleased to be talking to Wendy Burt from Essex Carers Network. Hi Wendy, can I ask you to tell me how your families coped during the pandemic?
So I think that, yes, we had more families coming to us through the pandemic. Not initially. I think initially people just battened down the hatches and did what they had to do. But as time wore on and people were feeling much more isolated, we did have more calls from our families asking us what they could do, when were things going to open back up again. And I think the thing that we found most was families were feeling really run down and really tired and worn out because they'd had to get on and care throughout the pandemic with very, very little or even no support. So we did have more calls coming into us. Our details also went out through our local authority, sent out a letter to all family carers, and our details were on there for people to contact us if they felt they needed support.
Now, I know that you're a family carer yourself, Wendy. How do your families manage to juggle the working and caring role?
So I'm lucky enough that I have been able to work. So I do care for both my sons who both have a learning disability, but I have had to change how I work and what job I do. I used to have a full-time job working shifts, which was not conducive to supporting my sons and for us to be a family together, because it always seemed to be that my husband and I worked opposite shifts to make sure that one of us was there. So changing my job over the years was something that had to be done. I work for a carers organisation, so I know that they understand and can be flexible for me when things go wrong and things happen. I'm also very lucky that I've got a very supportive family around me and they're close to us. So both the boys' grandparents are around and nearby, which has been really helpful. I think the fact that I and others like me save the UK economy so much money, it's very disappointing that in general family carers are not supported by the system very well.
Can I ask, how do carers like yourself get support from sort of social care government, from the services?
So many years ago, I had a carers assessment that resulted in a sum of money to help me to feel able to carry on in my caring role, which was really useful. I employed a cleaner for a whole year, which what that meant was I then, the time I would have spent cleaning, I could spend with my family. But I've never been reassessed. I haven't had a carers assessment since then. So I feel myself that I'm not valued by the system. And by the same token, there's a lot of families who, for whatever reason, because of their caring responsibility, can't go out to work. So they rely on carers allowance, which comes, through the benefit system. And carers allowance is such a small amount, it works out, pence. People are paid pence in an hourly rate. It certainly doesn't recognise the amount of work that families are doing day in, day out for their family member. And, and it doesn't reflect how much money families are saving in the economy by doing that. Interestingly, I had a family get in touch with me yesterday. Their son still lives at home with them, and his mum has been getting carers allowance for many years. Later on this year, she gets her state pension. So she has now been told that she won't be getting carers allowance. And she's obviously quite upset about this because, as she said, I will still be caring for my son. I'll still be doing everything I've been doing in the last few years. But now, because I'm pensionable age, I won't be getting that allowance. Which, I think that how the system sees it is that we gave you your carers allowance instead of a wage, but now you're retired, you get your pension rather than earning a wage, which is all well and good, but those families are still working, they're still caring for their loved one for very little reward.
Now, Essex Carers Network says it recognises the need for family carers of adults with a learning disability and autism to meet, chat and discuss their challenges and successes in person. So they're introducing meetings in Tendring and North Essex, whether that's for coffee and chat, craft and natter, or a walking group. There'll be something for everyone. Most importantly, they want to hear from their families and take those lived experiences to meetings with health and local authorities to help influence change and provide better opportunities for carers and their loved ones.
By local people, for local people. Broadcasting 24 hours, 7 days. This is Colne Radio, 106.6.
Okay, so you've heard all about Paula's strike. You've not heard about me. Hi, Paula.
Hi, Katie. So we're going to talk about our course. Can I ask how you found out about the course?
So I think off the back of the pandemic, I was just looking for things to do and get involved in. So I literally sent an email to Colne Radio asking them if I can make cups of tea, sweep the floor, be a volunteer, just get involved in the radio station because I love music so much.
What's been the most challenging part for you?
I think the challenging part for me is to be scripted. I think I can sometimes be a little wild and flamboyant and like that kind of expression just to be able to have a conversation. But of course, to learn about how to conduct interviews and, just keep your questions kind of short and learn the basics of interviewing and behind the radio, really, and all the workings.
Yeah. The highlights for you, what were they?
Highlights, I guess just expression. I think picking up new skills, of course, is a highlight, and meeting new people is something that, is important to me after moving to Essex. And highlights, learning about radio, and maybe there might be, some window of opportunity to do something within radio.
So what is going to happen in the future for you, do you think? What are your dreams?
My dreams. My dreams. I guess I have many dreams. I think I want to continue on with my music. I'm a musician, a solo artist, playing bands, but would love an opportunity to maybe talk about grassroots music and within the Colchester and the Essex and Tendring, and maybe get behind some of the bands here that's just starting, and original artists, tomorrow's music, and I think that's something that I would love to be able to highlight in some way.
Thank you, Katie.
Thank you. Okay, so I've been asked to pick some music, and I've been a little self-indulgent because I've actually picked one of my own tracks. It's called the 7th Wave, which is kind of based on the sea and how the 7th wave is always the strongest. Here's my track, the 7th Wave.
Did you look back at all at what you left here? Do you ever think of me? Feel the pain and the fear? I broke me, hurt, choked me, took me crazy. Now all you don't get the credit. It was me, I know for sure. I love you, I hate you, all in the perfect time. Why do I do the time when I don't? Oh no.
Se7enth Wave, and that brings us to the end of the special produced programme for Colne Radio under the Seeds for Growth programme. Paula and I have had an amazing time, so from us, it's not goodbye, but see you again soon.
Did you know that community radio stations are a great way to connect to your local community and hear what's going on around you? Well, why not tell us your favourites so you can keep coming back? We are always here for you, even if it's just to play you some music or give you some local news. We are your community radio station. Colne Radio 106.6.